Another issue about meetings is they have to have minutes covering the meetings. Now, where most places do this well is for the open session meetings. They'll have the minutes available, they'll put them on the internet, they'll pass them within 30 days, which is the rough sort of deadline, 30 to 60 days on the outside, 30 on the inside. But where a lot of places don't do that well is for executive session minutes. So you have a meeting, they go into executive session. Well, guess what? The Meetings Act requires them to have minutes both for the open session and for the closed session. In addition, they're supposed to be drafting and approving the closed session minutes just as quickly as the open session minutes. There's no difference. The closed session minutes are supposed to be drafted and approved. Again, it's a range. Some judges are different, 30 to 60 days. Now, what clerks do, and it's wrong, what they do is they're a little lazy. They don't draft the executive session minutes until someone actually gets around to making a request for them. And then they make the request, maybe they'll turn the gears into motion, or they'll say, well, they haven't been approved for release yet, so I can't give them to you. That's an insufficient response. When it comes to executive session minutes, they have to be prepared and approved within 30 to 60 days. Now, where you might not have access is if there's still a need for confidentiality regarding the matter that was discussed in closed session, then that part of the minutes gets redacted. But for the parts of the meeting where the issue's over, you should, and again there's exceptions, but you should be able to get the closed session minutes. If you're really wondering what's going on in your town, I think you should ask for copies of the executive session minutes. That's where they discuss the personnel problems. That's where they discuss the litigation. In the open session, they're giving out awards, they're having votes, they're not discussing anything. The important stuff goes on in the closed session. So if I wanted to know more about my town, I would focus on the closed session minutes. What are they discussing? What cases are they discussing? What topics are they discussing?
Okay, so I have that specific example where they were created for years when I made the request. And then when you get the minutes after it's been approved, they do a footnote on it. It's like one sentence for the executive session minutes. It's not sufficient information in the minutes themselves. What do you do then?
Okay, so it's an excellent question. The question is essentially, how much detail do the minutes have to have, and what do you do if the minutes aren't sufficiently detailed? So the minutes, and this especially comes to play with the executive session, the minutes have to be, I'm trying to remember the exact language.
Here it says,
You're going to tell it to me.
no, you gave us the documentation.
I know, I'm sure it's in the yellow folder.
Yeah, the members present, at the time and place, the members present, subjects considered, the actions taken, the voting of each member, and other information required.
No, they have to be, the minutes have to be reasonably comprehensible.
Yeah.
No, you said comprehensive.
Yeah, it says here.
Does it say comprehensive in there?
No, both. Comprehensive both.
Yes.
Yeah. Reasonably
The two words sound very similar, but I guess they could be more different, but they represent two very different ideas. The law says reasonably comprehensible. That means they must be capable of being understood. Now, what people in the open government camp want the law to say is reasonably comprehensive, which means a sufficient discussion of everything that was said and discussed and voted on and decided. They're not required to do that under the Meetings Act. Now, there is a case from the Supreme Court, which we don't litigate these types of cases enough because, like I said, there's no fee shifting, so unless someone wants to pay for it, it doesn't happen. There's a case that says the meeting minutes, including executive session meeting minutes, should contain sufficient information to allow members of the public to evaluate the wisdom and reasonableness of the public agency's decision. So, if you get a one-liner where it says, litigation, Smith versus Smith, a discussion was had, I think that that's insufficient. I think so. You have no, here's sort of my test. If you, after reading the minutes, do you have an idea of what happened, or would you have to pick up the phone and call someone who's at the meeting to figure it out? That's my test. Now, there's no case that says that. But if I can go to court and say to a judge, Judge, we have no idea what happened at this meeting. In fact, next year's council, the new council members, after they're elected, even they won't know. If today's clerk quits and a new clerk comes on, the new clerk's going to have no idea, because all it says is discuss litigation, discuss contracts. No. That's not going to cut it.